stuff.
Pork Chop worked Mississippi too.
Yeah, he was there then.
Explain to me, because he was big in California, in the Los Angeles territory. He was a big babyface there, but I never actually sat down and asked him, because I didn't know until actually I was already out of the territory how old Pork Chop is, because at the time he looked 35, he was like 50.
Right, he would have to be.
He started really late, but he had a great body, and he flew, and he took these big bumps, and had the long beard with
I just talked to him probably a month ago.
He's got to be 70 now.
He's living in Jackson, Mississippi.
He was almost 50, 20-something years ago.
Yeah.
But it just, I would have never believed until I found out accidentally how old he was. You know, and a lot of people probably don't even remember him, but he was in great shape and looked great. What a promo, in his own way.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of slow and laid back, you know. But
a lot of our heroes back in our day when we were fans, they were older guys. You know, like Don Fargo, for example.
Yeah.
You know, Don Fargo's in his 70s now. And if you start deducting the years, you know, even if you take off 30 years, you know, he was in his 40s or so when I thought he was the greatest thing in the world.
Well, in 1975 he came to Tennessee and he was shredded. He was down to 195 pounds, abs, 8-pack of abs. Come to find out, he's like in his mid-40s.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
And then he goes up to 300 pounds.
Yeah, and you see him,
and he's 60, and he looks like a dirty, ugly 40.
He's now.
He never looked good.
I see
Don. I love him.
I see him often, and he's almost 80 years old, and he hasn't changed a bit. He still wears the leather. He still rides bikes, and
covered with tattoos.
2 years ago, he broke his hip, and I heard. I went, oh no, because I love him to death. I said, this could be it for Don.
That's
when
always the beginning of the end when somebody old breaks their hip. But with Don, it was probably falling off a motorcycle, wasn't it?
It was. He came and kicked out of it, and he's fine. You know. But the point I was making back when a lot of the stars were up in age then.
Yeah.
You know, they were in their 40s and some even in their 50s.
You never got a chance to work on top before you were 35, even in smaller territory, because you had to have the experience. And then I remember in Memphis, Lawler getting on top when he was that young because of his mouth. He was only 25, but the heels he replaced on top were 50. And the baby faces, except for Jerry Jarrett and Ricky Gibson, the baby faces were Jackie Fargo, Tojo, Eddie Marlin. I mean, they were all 50 years old.
Speaking of Gibson.